My name is Charlotte and this is my story. A few months after my parents split up, my mum found herself a boyfriend. It wasn't long until he moved in to live with us. He began to harass me. It started as emotional abuse and soon turned physical.
I'm Annie, and this is my story. I was abused by my twin. I was beat up, threatened, and she called me names, but no one took it seriously because we were related and under 16. The abuse got worse. She would hit me, tell me I was worthless and that I should die. She started threatening me with knives, and it got really dangerous. Eventually she left home, but she would call and text me all the time.
There are many other children and teenagers across the UK who are living in similar situations of domestic abuse, but no two stories are exactly the same.
We are told there are lots of people out there that can help us, but sometimes we feel confused and scared to ask for help. Teenspeak gathered questions from teenagers who have had experience of domestic abuse and asked them to the people who have power to make a difference. Here's what they had to say.
My name is Louisa Rolfe. I'm an Assistant Chief Constable with the police in Avon and Somerset.
For the last 20 years, I have only done family work and child protection work.
My name is Helen Grant.
I'm Children's Commissioner for England, which means that I promote and protect the rights of the child.
So my name is Ros McNeil and I work for the National Union of Teachers, which is a teacher trade union.
And what do you think can be done to stop people being abusive?
Stopping people from being abusive is everybody's business. It's every school's business to make sure that children understand that respectful relationships are never violent. And by that I mean verbally violent and emotionally violent, as well as physically violent. It's every youth club's job to make sure that young people understand that it has no place in ordinary human beings' lives. It's every family's job to make sure that family members are safe and that children don't witness violence and abuse and therefore don't learn how to be violent and abusive. So it's everybody in society, really. It's EastEnders and Coronation Street's job, it's Emmerdale's job to make sure that people who are abusive and violent are not portrayed as heroes. You know, it's everybody's job, really. It's no one organisation.
Why do you think people don't talk about living with domestic violence?
People don't want people outside their homes to know what they're going through because they feel guilty, they feel embarrassed, children feel that in some way it might be their fault. But we've got to change that.
One of the biggest problems that I see is scepticism, which is a worry that people may not be believed by support organisations or other organisations, and that's something that we really do need to address.
Many young people are afraid of not being believed if they tell someone about abuse. What would you say to young people to encourage them to talk to someone at school?
I think it's important that young people realise that they're not alone, that everybody for whom this is happening to them, they all feel that they're alone and they all feel that nobody's going to believe them. But it is happening and it's absolutely your right to talk about it and to say, this is what's happening to me and I want to tell somebody.
I've heard of harassment and intimidation, but I'm not sure what it means. Can you tell me what they are and if people can get in trouble or arrested for it?
People can get in trouble. Harassment can mean if somebody is scaring you by persistently getting in touch with you. Now that could be on your mobile telephone, it could be, you've heard all the things in the media about people being harassed through social media, Ask FM, Twitter. That can be harassment, something that interferes with you going about your life and scares you. If we want to prove a case of harassment, we'll look for something that's not just a one-off, not just as somebody phoned you and said something that upset you, but actually if they're persistently doing that, if they're turning up outside school, or if they're turning up outside your house, or if you're concerned that they're persistently calling you, then that's harassment.
What about siblings? You know how siblings fight sometimes and it may get out of hand. Can there be domestic abuse between siblings?
Domestic abuse is wrong, whoever's committing it. If there is a sibling who is violent emotionally, verbally or physically to others in the household, it's just as scary as if it was an adult, and it's just as wrong.
We try and understand, what might be normal sibling rivalry, sibling behaviour between young children, and what might be something that gives us concern. And if we were repeatedly called, or if we got to somebody's house and children had a fight that involved extreme violence or violence that concerned us and somebody was injured, then we'd want to understand what the risk was. And it might be that we would, I think we'd always speak to other agencies if we had those serious concerns, and we'd be speaking with people like social workers and others to say, is there a problem in this family? Something that means that these children have the wrong idea about what's acceptable, or they have a problem or a concern that's causing them to behave in this way.
My message to young people is that it's absolutely your right to talk to somebody about it. This is not right, it's not normal, it's not something that you just have to live with, it's not something that you have to put up with. So it will be more helpful if you're able to try and talk to somebody, and then they can access you some support, but they can also help you get to a place where you're feeling better, and you can then live your life free of feeling scared or feeling intimidated, which isn't something that you should have to have as any part of your life.